What is up, everybody? Welcome to my very first course. I'm so excited to equip you on your journey of becoming the best salesperson that you could ever be. But this process of becoming awesome at sales is so much more about who you are becoming as a person. And it's also intimately linked to your why, to your mission. What is compelling you to sell your products? What is your why? So we're going to talk about different aspects of sales. We're going to talk about sales in general. How do you feel about sales? We're going to talk about you. How are you showing up as a salesperson? Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe that you have an inherent worth, that you are worth investing in? We're going to talk about the products. What do you know about your product? Do you have different selling points? Do you believe that your products are a blessing? We're going to talk about the customers, their personality types, how you can best connect with them and meet them where they're at, how that's super important. And then asking. You have to position them to say yes or no. And if they say no, that is an opportunity for you to build grit. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about practical ways for you to potentially, if you'd like, partner with my company to sell my products door to door to build your dream or build your mission. We're also going to talk about if you're a small business owner and you're new to all this and you're like, Kacee did it. Kacee took her candle company and built something from the ground up. I want to do the same thing with my t-shirt company. I want to do the same thing with my bakery. I'm going to go ahead and show you how you can do that as well. So we're going to get into the nitty-gritty details of sales. And thank you so much for choosing me, for trusting me to equip you in this journey of becoming the best person that you can become as you choose to sell products, whether it's your own or mine. So a little history about me. I began my company, originally called Angel Light. It is in the process of being all called Beauty Is, all under the umbrella of Beauty Is. I began that at age 31 when I moved to Redding, California, which is where I am at currently. That became my livelihood officially in the beginning of 2021. So I was selling candles in the middle of COVID, y'all. I was making it happen, making it rain right there in the middle of COVID. I actually had a lot of things happen. So my supply chain, after I started, completely shut down. I had no idea that COVID would affect the wax, that COVID would affect the wicks. And I almost got borderline depressed. There's something about being able to build and have access to commerce and have access to assets where you feel empowered. I was just, for about 2 months, my bank account kept getting lower and lower and lower, but I knew that I had something that would work. I had already sold a couple of my candles door to door, and I was like, I've got a mechanism. This could work for me to have the opportunity to support myself as I build Beauty Is. So Beauty is my baby. Beauty is my mission. Beauty is my dream. Your dream is going to be different. And whatever your dream is, that's going to be what you want to share with your customers, whether you're partnering with Beauty Is and sharing your why, you're selling my products and sharing your why. So they say yes to my product to essentially invest in you, or you're selling your own product, but your why is everything. For me, my why was Beauty Is. So I was selling candles. And I knew that I had discovered something that worked. However, my supply chain was suddenly shut down. So what it did is it forced me to create a product that was even better. I discovered in that time period various wick opportunities and then also local beeswax, which has become a key component of my company. My beeswax is a main selling point, something I'm super proud of, but had COVID not happened, something that one might view as being a terrible tragedy, I saw it as an opportunity because it made my product line even better. And I still remember it was February 23rd of 2021, and I call it my miracle day. I finally had candles in. I finally had wax. I made my first set of candles, and I had nothing left in my bank account. In fact, everything left in my bank account equaled my next bill. So I had a week and a half to pay that bill. So I was about to zero out, and it was my make it or break it day. Woo! Oh my gosh, I'm remembering that day right now. That was powerful. So I had my candles in my car, and I drove to this one neighborhood, and I began to knock doors, and I'm like, this is it. Everything's on the line. If we can't do it now, I have to get a job. And now getting a job is not the end of the world. But if I were to have gotten a job that would have just taken away from me building Beauty Is. At that point, I knew I needed 5 people to help me get that off the ground, and I was doing it all alone. If I would have gotten a job, it would have just taken away from me building my dream. So I wanted to build something that was in line with my dream. I wanted them to hold hands, so to speak. And so if I was not able to sell candles that day, I would have had to have gotten a job. So everything was on the line that day, and I began knocking doors. And I still remember I knocked about 25 doors, and 2 people answered. One said no, and the second person, he said no. But I asked how I could pray for him. And he began sharing with me that he lost his wife about 5 years earlier. And I showed up in my full self, even though I was pretty desperate to make money that day. I showed up in my full self, and I showed up in empathy, and I connected with him, and I loved on him, and I prayed for him. He was moved, and then he asked how he could pray for me. And I had one prayer request, you guys. I only needed prayer for one thing. My business was on the line. And tactfully, I shared that, but I started crying. And he came back with a $40 donation. And I was like, you don't have to do that. I'm blubbering. And he was insistent. And then I got in my car and I went for a drive. And I got really real with God. I was crying. And I was like, so at the end of myself, I'm like, this is not freaking working. What am I doing? What am I going to do? And after that drive, I remember I drove down by Whiskeytown Lake. And on that drive, I had this moment, and I'm not sure that this is fully wise, but some ridiculous grit rose up in me. And I literally said out loud, kind of in this like defiant prayer, it was like, if I have to if I have to knock on 100 doors to sell one candle, I'm gonna do it. And I just had this like roar within me, and I went back out there and I knocked on doors, and I just kept knocking. And I actually sold 20 candles in the next 2 hours. After that drive, it was just open heavens. And the next day I went out and sold for 2 hours again, and I sold 10 candles. And at that point, I was on my way to paying off that bill. And the rest is history. I built a subscription base, and I've made my candles better and better ever since. My spa line, my spa products, it has definitely evolved into something that I wasn't expecting, and it's been beautiful. And I am here to tell you today, to teach you and equip you in some of the things that I've learned along the way. I've built my business from nothing, from the ground up, mainly selling door to door, also selling at some farmers markets, also selling to friends and family. I also have a history of sales. In my 20s, I was in sales departments at different organizations, different churches, different MLMs, different multi-level marketing companies, and I rocked every single one of them. I set goals. I set records. I broke goals. I've always been a natural sales woman. And so you definitely made a good decision in choosing me to equip you in sales by purchasing this course. And I so look forward to equipping you with everything that I can, everything that's in me, to see you flourish and to see you successful in your journey of selling, whether it's your own product or selling my products. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump into lesson 1.